We have Mr. Richard Lightner with us, most experienced and well-respected tax administrators in the state of North Carolina. Just to clear it up. Revaluation, so we've had to give us an update on that.
Well, the time of reckoning is here. I'll pass this out. The first set of numbers I'm giving you is a history of the reassessment in Macon County since '83. I came in '85, so I got the tail end of appeals then. And if you look at these numbers going up, you know, it looks like we averaged about 60% of increase every revaluation cycle. This year we're losing 14.45%. So that's very unusual. One thing these numbers don't tell you here, and I just know from the history of being here, part of the revenue neutral tax rate law that went into effect in North Carolina a few years back had a little bit to do with the mountains and the coast in the increase of values going up so substantially that the common person didn't know what an average. During these 91, 99, and 2003, Macon County had some of the largest net tax increases in the state because, like us in Jackson, Dare, and Carter, you know, anything, anywhere is sold at a high dollar. Well, that's has really come to a point of standstill the last few years, and so the total value of real estate has gone from 8.9 billion down to 7.65 now. Now I'm going to give you a breakdown of each township.
What would we like to say on the value?
Overall?
Yeah, I know we're talking about.
Well, that's kind of misleading because you have to look at all the, there's different cycles of reassessment. So this year there's 15 counties doing reassessment. So we're not all on there. And they actually do a sales ratio and they look at the effective tax rate. And of course when they do that, Macon County, as of this year, we're still the lowest. But now you can break it down based on percentage per person, but then that's inflated because you got Macon County, Jackson County, the mountain county, and the coastal plains down on the coast where theirs inflated because it don't count the part-time residents. And so
if just overall, like we're at 8.9 billion the value of Macon County.
for our size county, that's pretty high. We're higher than, I think, Derek called me, down in Morris County where you were this weekend. Hayward County said that they had a $80 billion in value. Well, that's, I don't know, Raleigh may get close to that. But I said, no, that's wrong. They got 7.3 billion. And we had 9.3. Now Jackson, right across the hill, same number of parcels and everything, they got 11.3 billion. So, you know, all that. But for our size county, us in Jackson and Dare County, Carteret County, or per person is pretty high. Yeah. So it just depends on the market and see. Jackson County, they're following us, they'll do a revalue next year. Well, Hayward County's still a couple years out. So, you know, it's hard to equalize them totally. The second sheet you have there is the townships, and you'll look and see it has the parcels, and in each township. Then it had the 07 value, the 15 value, the difference, and the percent change. And that's pretty well, if you look at, and as I told some people, Franklin City and Highland City, I mean, that's where your population is. That's, they're going to stay pretty stable. If you look out in the Flats Township, a lot of vacant land out there, took a big burning town. Anywhere there's tracts of land is going to take a bigger dive. If you got residential housing, you got a house in 1 acre or a house in a lot or something, that's going to be more stable. And that's what these numbers direct you out on that. This last one is more so for budgeting. This is what I got to connect there in this hall a week or so ago. And when you start talking about tax rates and things like that, these are the numbers you'll have to stay really close to. As I said, the vehicles is actually being taxed to the state now. When you get your tag, we feed all that stuff to the DMV, but to bring apples to apples compared to last year and the year before, that's about $277 million in value. Utilities are running 125 to 130 million right there. So your total, when you add the reassessment in, is $8.057 billion, which is less than last year's 9.3 or whatever, everything. So you're losing about 1.4 billion dollars. And then you break it down further because each fire district has their own tax rate. So these are the numbers we are looking at for each fire district. So when they turn in their budgets and that, and I don't know their fire rates right here personally, but Franklin, if they had a 7-cent tax rate last year, and if they lost value, then they're going to have a more rate this year. Some of them, I think, Mountain Valley and Cowee, they got a pretty high rate, but it's going to go higher because they had a lot of vacant land. So it comes in play now when you look at fire departments and all that on the revenue neutral, then the budget becomes a big item because you're going to have to go up with their rates too. So it's not just setting that 33-cent tax rate. You're going to have to set all those other tax rates based on the input from the other departments. The values are out. I had some people in Atlanta and they get it. Franklin, I didn't know anybody got any today in the mail, but usually Franklin runs probably 3 or 4 days behind the metropolitan areas because the mail goes to the city or works its way back. And there was about 36,000 decreased in value this year. 36,000 parcels out of 43,000. Now, how does that equate? That decrease on those parcels run greater than 1%. So some of those people will see a tax increase still, because if you're less than 14.5%, depending on what the budgets, everything goes about, then whatever the difference is, if it's 3%, you'll probably see a 3% tax increase. Now, there's many that will have a tax reduction. And then the other end is the other 6,000 were pretty stable or values went up. And I think I showed you last month one example, went from 1 million to 1.8 million. And we know that's good because, that's what the market is in that particular area for those type homes. So that person would have a substantial tax increase. So all that numbers from last month starts resonating of where you fall when we start talking about tax rates. Now, to go on to the appeal process, When you get your form, there'll be a complete form. You have your information, your ownership, and all that. Then, if you disagree, you got to check it out, send it back in. I think there's even an envelope in there because I had to return one from an old address this morning, and it had an envelope in there. So there is an envelope in there. That's the informal part. I mean, you got 30 days to get back with us. We'll review everything that comes in, send you another letter, then you can go to the Board of Equalization if you disagree. On top of that, we also it'll be open this afternoon, online appeals. If you pull up our website, you go to the appeal form and you walk you through like any computer program. And you fill it out just like if you go to Kevin's insurance office and you fill out the application for insurance. They do the same thing. You fill out the application, you process it, you attach appraisal electronic file that you got from one of the appraisers. You hit process, that goes to our developer. He emails the county that you got to fill. I go out there and I pick that information. It goes into our appeal system. I mean, it's all electronic. There's no county our size that even have anything close to that. Wake, there's a couple other counties that got one where they're taking online appeal, but it don't populate the things and don't track it like we do. It also will run it and it'll tie it to the GIS system, so we can see where, if I'm talking to Jimmy about his house or something, like that. Well, he said, Mr. Jones down the street, he said he appealed. Well, it'll light up, and I can see, yeah, Mr. Jones did, and Mr. Shields did, and, so it's pretty sophisticated for a small county. That there system, we end up spending $7,500 on, and that's all we spend, it's ours. But anything like it, the state will cost $30,000 plus per year, plus service charges. So we had it developed with our own staff, and Andy helps some other people. It's Mike Peters, and it's really going to save a lot of people's time. May not be big this year, but I'm telling you, in 4 years when we do it again, probably 50 to 80% going to be found online. I mean, that's just where the world is. So we're making inroads, like Andy said, for things down the road. We're investing now every little dollar we can scratch and save. It's just like that big savings of us going to the house. I brought that up in 1991. Well, before the 91 appraisal, we need to do our own stuff. And see, after all these years, we're saving $4 or $5 million. So you implement little pieces, and soon you got a nice program. So I think we got it covered. We got the written coming in. We got people stationed downstairs. We still have the phone system that Andy's talking about. That is, when you have an outdated phone system, and you have to put yourself in place. I know we all do this. You call somewhere and you got a bad phone system. What do you feel as a person? It's not a good deal because that's usually your contact. Well, put yourself in place that over half the residents or half the property owners in Macon County depend on a phone system to talk to somebody. And then we got what's going on. We got it patched, and that's about the extent of it. It's patched. But we got that covered. We got the online stuff for people that deal with that. We got the mail-in, the people that can't get out because they're elderly or on vacation or out of the country. We got the GIS. We got the website where you can search your neighbor's property or similar property. So I mean, all the stuff is available to the public. And the website is designed, when we designed that a couple of years back, 10 years now, we designed it so whatever information you get off the website, if you came down here to our office, you got the same information. So we didn't want to be different. So that way it saved you a trip, or if you're out of the state or something. So the number of appeals, I have no idea, because as you saw those numbers, we have never gone down and back. I mean, some of them going up 50, 60% in 4 years. Now we've gone down 15%. New record. So, but we'll be there for duration, whatever it takes to, get through all the fields this year. And hopefully, by the time you guys are ready to adopt a budget, that the field process will be all cleared up and gone away for the year.
Just following up real quick on Paul's question about comparing counties. Another thing you didn't mention, which I think in your Roberts and Brunswick, I just those counties on the farm side. And that's another reason it's hard to compare. I guess Benton County probably even more.
Yeah, and Scotland County, if you look there, their values never changed in 20 years. It's all farm.
It's all farmland.
And they got a $1.10 tax rate or something like that.
In factory, 49% of our land is owned by
The government land,
the state and federal government, which is not on our tax roll. And we don't continue to type that bill, maybe it will longer.
Yeah. So, we're blessed in some areas, in other areas we could use some help in and, some more development and things coming in, the business is getting back on their feet, but, we're still holding our own compared to other counties around the state. And as I showed you those numbers last time, it's going up. Mr. Tate Continued Highlands has really, started to pick up in downtown and things going on here. Hopefully, we'll have a good year and leave some of this recession behind us again. But
it's a while to turn that boat.
Any questions?
Good job as always.
Yes, really good job.
And if you get a phone call on that, just tell them, whatever that form says, if they're taking written form, send it in, and if you have a problem, something, buzz me or whatever. Hopefully not, but you will.
Thank you, Richard. Excellent job. Appreciate it. And not the least thing we said today was we saved $1 million by doing that in-house. That's important.
Millions is not important.
Said that.